Alrighty, everyone, welcome to the EagleEye Sprint Review and Retro for Sprint 91. Today we have the gang here, the standard dev crew. We've got Adam and Rick, our stakeholders. Let's jump in and we'll show you what we've been working on. Okay, so off the bat, this was a 2-week sprint. It was drawn out from a couple of public holidays. A couple of public holidays. We had 2 sprint goals. One was canary testing, which is partially done, and the other one was Azure Marketplace, migrating our managed app to solution templates. So with canary testing, partially complete, we're able to get Jeffrey to do it mid-sprint, which is great, but Rob and Michael Q were both blocked due to AI quota issues, which has since been resolved. So I'll jump into that when we go through our PBIs. The other one there for Marketplace, as you may remember, this is one of the steps that we required to migrate the SSW instance to align with what we're actually offering on Azure Marketplace. So yeah, that step's being completed. Cool, scrolling down. For the people in the sprint, it was a lot of Hark and Luke. We had Sam for a bit, but there was also a bit of leave scattered in between there. And then also Jeffrey has pinned some time there for the canary testing. Okay, so what we did. So from the top there, we've got Fix Azure Marketplace Center Package. From last week, this was a PBI that got pulled over. We had a pull request out. The bug has been resolved. Would you like me to dive into that one in a bit more detail, or happy just to continue on?
Sure, give a bit of detail.
Yeah. Oh, well, actually, I'll hand over to Hark. He could expand on it.
Yeah, so it was a versioning issue with Bicep. Our Biceps were compiling to version 2 because of some changes on the Bicep, how we were outputting the secrets. But Azure Marketplace only supports Bicep version 1. So we have to revert back to our older ways. So that's how we resolved this pipeline issue with Marketplace. And now we have deployed like 4 new versions. So it's all working. Any questions? Adam?
Okay. Take the silence as a no. That's good. Okay, awesome. Next one there was switch from managed application to solution template. So as I touched on before, this was a required step before we can move our instance over to match exactly what our users can get off Marketplace. Third one there, which is the canary testing, which has been marked as done. Number 4, model provisioning, allow customers to choose and deploy their own AI models. So as I mentioned above, there was a couple of canary testers which were blocked due to AI quotas in their NPM subscription. So we've been able to resolve that by introducing a way around it for those who don't have the, is it GPT-4.1 mini?
Yes.
Yeah, so we've got a better experience there. People can also go in completely without the AI side of things, and they can use a majority of the features of the application. However, you still require that AI setup for obviously the AI tags. Happy to expand on that a little bit more if needed.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so the way it's set up now, actually, maybe I'll pass back over to Hark again. He might be good to explain this one.
Yeah, so previously, our deployment was tied to GPT 4.1 mini model. So any customer or any user, they need to have GPT 4.1 mini quota in their sub, and then the deployment would have succeeded. But most of Canary tester doesn't have. I checked with Rob. He checked on all SSWers who has that quota. Only Jeffrey and Isaac had the quota. So then I did a little bit of research that if we can decouple the deployment without the model, then users would might be able to install the EagleEye, and then they can deploy the model whichever they have in their sub. So it was successful. So now users are not dependent on any model. They can go ahead and deploy EagleEye in their instance, even if they don't have any AI quota, and they can see all the tags and stuff. Only if they want to use AI tags and scans, then they have to deploy the model, and all the documentation is done on the documentation site, and it is straightforward process. Does it make sense?
Sure.
Cool.
And yeah, okay. Passing back to Toby.
Awesome. Thanks, Hark. Okay, so the next couple there are both related. So the hard-coded death date and the death date UI. So as you may remember, the selected approach was that we'll introduce this sort of hard-coded thing. So if a new customer comes in and they want to provision SSW EagleEye, they will only have it for a set period of time before it sort of becomes inactive. And this logic and UI was just sort of enforcing those rules. Cool. And then the remaining ones there, which are marked as blocked, but they have since been unblocked and they are being pulled into next sprint, other canary testing for Rob and Michael.
Yeah.
Cool. Alrighty, I'll pass back to Hark.
Okay, moving ahead. So this is our sprint burn up chart for the last 1 month. So until yesterday, we have 212 open PBIs and 17 completed. We are making steady progress, as you can see these bars and lines. Now next, code coverage. We haven't changed any C# code or our core implementation of EagleEye, so there was nothing much added on unit test or integration test on code coverage side. So it all looks the same previously. For product deployment, we have one documentation deployment, which was updating the docs to reflect the new process of OpenAI model being decoupled and how they can deploy the model post EagleEye deployment and stuff. And we have 4 EagleEye deployment on marketplace as well, which is including that death date UI, migrating from managed app to solution template, and also model decoupling. We don't have any Power BI reports update, so it is 0. Moving ahead, schedule scans. You can see all the scans are running successfully. This is for last 1 week, and same pattern on the weekends. Scan duration is less because less email, and on the weekdays it is usually 20 to 25 minutes durations. Moving ahead is report views for EagleEye. You can see Stefan, Jimmy, and Adam on the top 3 users. And now the product roadmap. So you can see we are making steady progress on migrating marketplace for SSW production. So we have one done completed, which was migrating from managed app to solution template. And for the canary testing, we have Jeffrey, who was added mid sprint, and he has successfully completed canary testing. And now with model decoupling from deployment, more testers can be are unblocked now. Moving ahead for research and development. So mostly this sprint, I did most of the research and development for bicep versioning for that bug. And then Azure OpenAI model deployments. I deployed multiple different deployments on Azure, my Azure subscription, and test which was better for EagleEye. And then I also did another thing was prompt engineering to test if I can deploy the Azure resources directly to my Azure subscription. And I think this is a good way we can start giving like prompts in EagleEye docs to people, and then they can copy the prompt, and in that way we can reduce their steps, and their AI will do the steps for them. So this is still in experimentation I'm doing, and then after testing we can start adding these prompts to EagleEye docs. So then
Mark,
they can.
are you saying instead of running bicep files, you'll run prompts and then the agent figures out what to do to deploy it?
Yes, like that, because they can get connected to Azure MCP server with their account, and also they can also ask AI to use, if they want to use CLI, AZ CLI, and then it will figure out all the stuffs. Like that's how I deployed the model, and for EagleEye. So it automatically figures it out. Okay, so this is your deployments. These are Azure resource group you have. EagleEye resource group is this. Do you want to deploy the model in this resource group? And I said yes. Then it said, do you want to deploy, which model do you want to deploy? I said, okay, look at the docs, EagleEye docs. It read the docs. We have recommended models. And then it says, okay, the recommended model is GPT 4.1 mini. How much quota do you want to deploy? I said 100, and then it does the job. So that's how much easier.
That's cool.
So,
I wonder how much customization should be needed to, like, should this be the default way to install it, or should it be, okay, I've installed the default, now I want to customize it?
Like, what do you mean by customization? Like,
Well, you don't want to have the user have to answer like 20 questions to get it
oh yeah,
installed, right?
we
So
can
it
have it.
should,
Yeah,
I think it should just be, you can click one button and it installs it. But then if you want to change it, okay, I want to change the model or whatever, I can just tell my agent and then it asks me questions as I go. Is that sort of the idea?
yeah. As I have tried that one, I also gave it default. Then it doesn't ask me any questions. But if I want to change it, then I start asking questions. Does that answer?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, Adam, you wanted to say anything?
I just wanted you to maybe watch this video back, and you'll see that the way that Callum talks at his pace and the pace you talk at is twice as fast as Callum. So
Oh,
it
okay.
is hard to understand when you're going at breakneck speed. Also, I think for everybody else in the call, the way that Callum paraphrases his understanding makes the meeting more interesting and certainly more understandable.
Okay, so I will slow down.
Okay, yes.
Too many tokens per second, Hark.
Yeah, that's why my brain is like token. Okay. Okay. So, any questions, Adam, about these? I thought you had questions
No,
about
that was
prompt
great.
engineering. Okay. Okay. So moving ahead to AI use. So I'm also now Team Cloud. So I have bought 5x Max last
wow.
sprint, and it's so good. And another thing I learned was the Caveman plugin. If you guys have heard of it, it reduces the token usage so much. Like I'm experimenting the Caveman. It talks in Caveman language. It strips off all a and the was were nicest please thank yous from output, and my cloud usage has been so good. Uh, Luke has started using Gemini Pro as well.
Okay.
For chat, yeah.
And I think we both are not, we both are not hitting any limits the last sprint. Now for AI stats for Claude, Luke will give us brief in walk through the AI Claude.
Yeah, okay. I will take over the screen. So this is the cloud stats. So I think meeting summary is pretty accurate. So we achieved the solution template migration goal, and we did part of the canary testing. Mid-sprint pivot, so we decouple the AI model, so more people can start to do canary testing, yeah, without worry about like Azure quota issue. Yeah, and Geoffrey completed current testing with positive feedback. Yeah, those are the main points and key decisions. I think this is also the one we talk about, decouple AI model. So yeah, we're unblocking the current testing. And in next sprint, we are prioritized to actually use Azure Marketplace offer for our SSW production. So we are actually doing this. Yeah, and I will go to insights. So elephants in the room. So this is not accurate. So we are actually doing the ratio after the recording. Yeah. Another thing I want to mention is Rob. So we have canary testing for Rob for across like multiple like sprints and
Sorry, just on
release.
the one before. Is
Yeah.
there any takeaway for you, Hark, on the one before?
I shouldn't say that in the recording.
Yes,
That
that's the
would,
takeaway. All right.
yeah.
And yeah, continue for this one. Yeah, so Rob is pretty busy and he has some quota issue, but now it's unblocked. So we will continue to let Rob to do current testing, because we think it's quite important from a sysadmin's perspective, like how we like install like EagleEye. Yeah, another thing I want to mention is here AI prompts for Asia development, which is Hawk's idea. So yeah, we can deploy using prompts. Yeah, so that will be all. I will stop sharing.
All right, I will take back the screen share. So that was Claude stats. And now for Copilot stats, you can see I was the most, I had the most speaking time because I was running the meeting. You can see here. And then Luke and Toby. And we asked Copilot, what was the main item completed this sprint? And AI said, migrating EagleEye from managed app to Azure Marketplace solution template, so which is accurate. And now let's do sprint retro. Toby, would you like to?
I can, yeah, absolutely. So starting off with what went well, the key callouts there is Jeffrey was able to successfully deploy EagleEye, which is great. Another tick for canary testing, and another one there was from myself for solution template migrated. So now we're kind of on the, I guess, last leg of actually getting SSW to use that marketplace offering. Perfect. Needs work and actions. These ones kind of go a little bit hand in hand. So from the top there, Luke mentioned about a large PR that was left, and the action's going to be doing a handover for PRs or PBIs before you leave. Obviously, it's a bit tricky if the person who creates it then gets held up with something else. The other area that needs work is refinement. So the boys didn't get to do a ton of refinement in the last sprint. I mean, understandably, there's been a lot of public holidays there, less availability from all the devs, so it is tricky. But Hark is suggesting to get back on the refining of a PBI per day, and just sort of place it after daily. So it's a good time that everyone can contribute. Any questions there?
Are you using Claude to help refine the backlog?
Not yet.
You could, because obviously you can just use the GH CLI commands. So you could just say, hey, go find a PBI that looks like it needs some work, and then ask me a couple of questions, and then flesh it out for me or whatever. That could be an easy way to keep that going.
Yeah, that's a
That's
good
a good
suggestion.
idea. Yep.
We got Yakshaver that creates the PBI, then Claude that comes and refines it. I love it.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. No. Good call. Alrighty.
Oh, all right.
Now jumping over to planning.
Forecast. Yeah.
Forecast. Yeah. Awesome. So we're going into our 1 week sprint. So back to our standard cadence. We're going to have the 2 goals of canary testing. So getting the people that are in the sprint over the line, and also migrating our instance to now use this marketplace offer, since all the prerequisites are met. If we scroll on down to the actual PBIs, so death date UI, there's a little bit more on that, just mainly testing once it goes through. And then the core of the work is that migrate SSW EagleEye from custom Azure resource to Azure Marketplace offer. Cool. The third one there, show error message in the portal when the model is not configured. So this came up with a little bit of discussion that we had around the work that was complete last sprint. So If the model isn't configured during the setup, as I mentioned, you can still use the basic functions of EagleEye, but you're sort of limited to non-AI tags. So we're just wanting the error to be a little bit more explicit for the user if they go to use an AI tag, just rather than, breaking and it not really showing the user any useful next steps. So we've got a quick PBI to address that. And then the final two there are the canary testing. Cool.
All right. So again, I will do the Copilot stats for the forecast. So we asked Copilot, what is the main item to do next? And Copilot said, we will run canary testing with Rob and Michael on the new solution template deployment, which is partially correct. We have Rob and Michael, but our main work is migrating EagleEye from custom Azure resource to marketplace offer. So there you have it.
Alrighty, thanks everyone for joining us for Sprint 91 review and Sprint 92 podcast. As usual, all of our recordings are on the SSW EagleEye YouTube channel, so feel free to check them out. Thanks everyone.
Thanks, Toby.